Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Bloomy Brain Podcast, where you come to water and nourish your brain, in turn seeing your mind, body, and spirit bloom. Today on the show, we have a very special guest, Gabriel Hines. How are you today, Gabe?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm glad that we're giving this another go. For those of you that don't know, maybe missed it on my social media, we had tried to record, I believe it was this month of last year, right? It was either this month or September, maybe.
It has to be because I remember I was doing a job and I left here.
Yeah, because you weren't here for that long.
Yeah, so wow, it's already been a year.
That's what I can't believe. Like when I've looked at that, I'm like, oh my God, that got deleted. So you guys, the file basically got deleted, and it was the most bizarre thing, especially we were just talking about this before we started recording today, but it just didn't make sense that the whole file got deleted. And we talked a lot about both of our fathers, and that's something that having fathers on the other side, and that's something that kind of, we connect and relate on. So we were just like, this is wild, but maybe this one wasn't meant to be.
Not meant to be.
There will be a better one soon to come. So who knows, maybe they tampered with it. But what are you up to? You just mentioned something about being back.
I'm back.
So full time?
Yeah, full time. I'm actually going to be going back to school, so
That's
I can
incredible.
Get this degree wrapped up, so I can be a little more official with reconstructions and remodels and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that seems to be taking off quite a bit. So
that's amazing, especially around here. There's so much construction going on right now.
Everywhere. Yeah, you can't. I mean, you can't find enough guys to get the work done at this point. That's more so the problem.
Yeah, that will definitely be just really great for you to be back here, and it'll feel good to have more education on the topics of what you'll be actually doing in the field. I always say, like, just never stop growing, never stop learning, and the only evidence of life is literally growth. So that's incredible that you're in school right now. I know my dad would be so happy to know like that you're doing all of this. So for those of you that don't know, Gabe and I know each other from Fayetteville, and we knew each other through middle school, right? And then come freshman year.
Actually, I don't think we met in middle school, because middle school I was at Reed Ross. And I did homeschooling. So that's what caused me why I was able to skip a grade, because I did the homeschooling thing first, went to Reed Ross because I heard their schedule was nicer.
Yeah.
And then I went to Pine Forest after that because I realized I want sports and I need to be there. So then I went there. But I think we met because you were doing cheerleading,
yeah.
Right?
And I feel like Fayetteville's so small, like between the different soccer programs and after school programs and this and that, it's like I feel like I've known you since we were younger, but I think officially we met like freshman year because you were dating someone on the cheerleading team.
Mm-hmm.
And you were super involved, and then my dad was super involved, and my dad saw you and just saw your work ethic and was like, this kid is freaking incredible. Oh my God. Like, does he want to come on and, do some assisting with me? And I was like, he's freaking crazy if he does, because you're so much to put up.
Your dad put me to work. He was like, I got a horse now, guys.
Yeah. So like all the while, like especially like after the first week, like I just so was expecting you to come back to school and be like, her dad's a crazy person, like, oh my God, never again. But like you just always had such a great attitude, and oh my God, my dad just loved and adored you and thought the world of you, and was like, they don't make them like him anymore. Look at all these boys inside playing video games and stuff, So, fast forward to 2019 when my dad passed. I feel like I knew, because it had come up throughout high school, that your dad passed when you were young. Mm-hmm. But I don't think I knew. I think, it's just one of those things, you hear something and you empathize, and then you don't revisit it with that person always, because you don't want to bring out trauma in them when maybe they didn't have the bandwidth to have a conversation about that one day. So it's like you hear things about people, but sometimes until you go through it yourself is when you fully have a wider framed lens and you can feel a little bit more. Like, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I totally understand. And I mean, unfortunately now you understand.
Yeah.
You know? So I think that's not something that I ever wish on anybody else to understand.
Absolutely.
And I just kind of learned to put it behind me more so than in front of me to make it an example of everything I do, because it's not. And that was like a time that happened to me in the past or happened to my family.
Yeah.
And we had to learn, and like you were just talking about, grow from it. You jumped over your dad really fast, and I don't want to jump over him really quick because like I kind of want to like give a texture of like what Josh was like, because when Josh brought me on, you know, he was like, hey man, can you just crawl underneath this house, clean up this mold, put this insulation back up, you know, lay some moisture barrier out. And he was asking me to do things like, I'm 13 years old. I don't know what I'm doing at all. What the hell's going on?
To say.
But
like what adults are doing.
Right. But he had so much confidence in my work ethic, my skills, that, you know, he knew I would figure it out. So he was able to get me a lot of clients in order to start making a name for myself, start hustling and working. But I loved your dad's energy, because every time he saw me, he's always like laughing. He's always on the move to the next spot. He's always hustling. Yeah. Always in a work shirt. I hardly ever saw him in like
repping
something
his own thing.
Yeah. And his big truck coming around. And the one crazy job he made us do was he was having us pick up railroad ties from a railroad, and like those big wooden blocks.
Yeah.
Those like 6x6 wood beams. And his brother Jeremy, your uncle, came out and helped us. And, you know, we were just dumping them off a cliff, and that was like so fun. But I remember your dad, he was like, all right, today's been a long day. He goes, I'm going to drink a beer and I'm going to let you drive. I don't even have a permit. I haven't even started taking driver's ed. You're supposed to take driver's
13.
ed. I'm 13 years old, and he's like,
this is incriminating material.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I'm joking.
I feel like he would appreciate it a little bit.
Oh, he's like living it up right now.
Yeah, you can cut it if you need to.
No, oh my God, I'm so joking with you.
But yeah, I remember he was like, you're going to drive. And I was nervous. And he's over here. He already cracked open a Bud Light. He's slamming it. And he's like, drive yourself home. And then, you know, that was cool because it was the first time somebody ever trusted me to just take their truck for my own.
Yeah.
Like I've done the whole like reach over and grab dad's wheel while he let go of it so he can text or whatever. And you shouldn't do that. But, you know, never did I get that like permission to drive my truck. And his truck was like a $30,000 truck. So things could have went bad. But he put a lot of trust in me, and that's what I appreciated about your dad. All praise to him. Like I'm so sad to see that he left when he did, and how that came to be. And like, it's not anything that I would have known was coming. And had I known, I would have definitely wished I talked to him more. But here we are.
No, I love that. That was such a beautiful tribute that you paid to him. And it's 2 days before his birthday. So I know he's just, right? I know he's just like eating it up right now, wherever he is. Maybe he's on a beach in heaven somewhere.
When this airs, happy birthday, Josh.
Oh, yeah. Maybe it'll air on his birthday. That'd be really cool. But yeah, you know, you said like you and your family kind of brought you guys together and you worked as a team to overcome. Do you feel like this has strengthened your family unit like for the better over time?
That's kind of a loaded question. I would say everybody handles things differently. My older brother, he's the oldest, obviously knew what happened because he was old enough to understand. And, you know, I don't think he would have processed that the way that I did. I had to process like retroactively. I was only 4. So what do you know when you're 4 years old? You just know what your mom or your dad tells you to do. But, you know, and there's some people that will develop a victim mentality of something tragic or something horrible that happened to them. And then there's other people that'll use it as a motivator.
Yeah.
Now, you can be the victim, you can play victim, or you can take your situation and you can, like we started this podcast saying, you can grow from it. You can use it as an advantage. You can use it, don't take it for advantage, don't take it for granted, but use it as an advantage of something that, all right, this happened to me. How did I develop the feelings over time to overcome sadness, guilt, whatever the case may be for how you feel, mad, angry, depressed. What did you do to slowly bring yourself out of that hole is what's important for you to learn yourself to arm with that again when other things come to you.
Yeah.
Right. So not to take anything away from the fact that death can be a traumatic thing for anyone, especially when it's a family member. The older you get, sadly, and the more you grow through life, the more you understand that that's a common thing that's going to happen, and everybody dies.
Yeah, absolutely.
So as long as you make your impact where it's made, and you keep those relationships close to you that matter to you most, then death is a beautiful thing, because whatever you believe in, energy, God, whatever the case may be, you'll know that there's some peace that they're there.
Yeah. And
that you can get there too. And you will get there. Not that you should rush it, don't rush it. But
don't rush it.
You can get there, and you can still find ways that they're communicating with you, like crashing our first podcast. Yeah. So they're like, maybe not, the world's not ready to hear this.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. God, it's also crazy to think about, and it's very relative, and everything that you just said was so eloquently put. And yeah, I like what you said about like the victim mentality, because we do have a choice. We can either be victim or victor. Yes. And it's perspective, and it's a choice. It's an active choice, and you have to put in the work to either be one or the other. And I do think that the victim is the easier route to take sometimes, because it's just, it's giving into the ego. But when you don't give into that, and you choose to not be defined by something, but turn your mess into message with it, I think that just helps you to continue on in life and still squeeze the rest of the juice that's left in that lemon that life gave you. And when I think back to like growing up in grade school, I think about you and Josh Ryan are two people that lost, I believe you were 4 and he was like 7 or 8. And you two particularly stick out to me as just two of the most positive, happy, uplifting people like throughout school. Just your energies and your aura is always so pleasant. So it's interesting too to think about at such a young age, whether you guys were conscious of it or not, you guys were able to say, no, like victim's not for me, so that's just so awesome. And your dads would both be so proud. Yeah.
I mean, you put it perfect. Victim or victor, and you have to choose. It's the decision that you make. Nobody's going to make that for you. So I'm hoping to stick to my victor side as long as I can. I don't ever want to switch over. Because some people can switch around. They can feel like a victor some months, and then other months they can feel like the victim. And I totally get that. It's not a one-way street for everybody. So
absolutely. And I always like love when people reference like something's in the air, like it's in the air, or now
Mercury's in retrograde.
Right now it is?
No. I don't know.
Like just energy in the air. And
energy, yes.
Or like when a lot of breakups are happening, like, oh, it's in the air, don't breathe in.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, like this earth is more energy than it is physical matter. If you do the whole earth as like one and the airspace. So it's interesting to think that like, we do go through shifts, and I do think that they have stuff to do with the stars, the moon, the sun, the placements of all the planets and everything. But yeah, do you think that it's harder in today's day and age to kind of express emotions as a male? I do feel like the paradigm has shifted ever since COVID, and I do feel like mental health has been heavily pushed. So maybe your answer would be different prior to 2019 than it is now.
Well, I mean, today, like, what is a male? I don't even know, right? But I identify as a male. I'm a dude. Like I said, it's not a one-way street for everyone. For me, it's I honestly maybe have sometimes a little hard time suppressing my feelings. Maybe I'm a little too expressive and people can see it on my face, like when I'm bothered in public or, or if I just look uncomfortable because I'm around somebody that makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah. Interesting.
And, I don't do so well with masking those kinds of emotions because it's out of my control in a way.
Yeah.
But then I have to think about myself in those moments and go, you're in control of the situation. You're in control of what you're at peace with right now.
Yeah.
So in those uncomfortable situations, I really got to bring myself back, ground myself to the floor, and then realize I'm okay. Nothing bad's going to happen. And if X happens, what's my why? Do I need to worry about that, or can I just be in the moment and be present?
That's incredible.
So I think that's what helps me stay in a linear sense on track.
Yeah.
It's not always easy to share my emotions. Like, for instance, on a podcast, like for me to be vulnerable and just kind of open this door up to everyone on the internet, that's a scary thing in a way. And so, for us to talk about our dads, it's a very intimate and personal thing. But I know that if maybe somehow that can help somebody and help them see that they have some kind of great influence in their life, then they can take a step back and realize that there's more people that you mean to, like you mean more to people than what you think in your head.
Yeah.
Because you can get in a dark place here with whenever you're not working, when you're not making money, if you're stressed about health, if you're stressed, about all those things that are out of your control again. You have to remind yourself that you're in control with your mental state of everything. Yeah. So you can be a little more positive, look at the glass half full versus half empty, and that can be hard to do. So, I put my heart out there for everyone that goes through those struggles and they're going through that time and they feel alone because, quite frankly, you're not. Whatever friend that you have, neighbor that you have, sister, brother, mom, cousin, follower at this point, that you're making a difference to, just that one person can be the reason why they're still going. So that should keep you going in a way. Yeah. Because you never know who you're inspiring. You don't know what example you're leading. But as long as it's a good one for yourself, that's ultimately what matters. But you have to do it for yourself, because nowadays people are doing things just for the gram or for, a social media thing, or they're getting themselves hurt. So gotta be more in tune and more conscious about oneself.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. And honestly, just being here from me and behalf of my audience, because it is a very vulnerable thing to come on here like this. And your words were almost like exactly to a T, talking about like vulnerability. And if you could just inspire one person. I wrote this, so it's pretty divine that you're on here as the next episode, because I just recorded an episode finally kind of talking about the story of my dad leading up to it, the day of, and then a little bit after. I blanked in here the first time I tried to record it, and I caught myself. I had stared off for I think 6 minutes or so. I just too much. And then I was like, I can't do this. Tried again almost a year later. Just published it and everything. And in one of in the description part, I did write a little something about if I had it my way, I'd be on a farm with bunnies and babies, goats and chickens, with no social media. I do this to inspire people, and I feel like a God called mission almost to share it. And that was always my one mantra from the get-go, is as long as this helps one person, I can feel satisfied. I can feel resolution in my heart, because it's I wish that my dad had just come across some sort of a resource, just something. It can be something as, simple as music, or as intricate as music, as simple as, you see all those mental health magazines in the line at the grocery store now. We're really pushing this out more, and just the resources weren't there the way they are now in 2019. And they certainly weren't there when your dad committed What year was that? If you were 4?
That was 2002.
So right after 9/11, that is.
Yeah, and I mean he was
crazy.
He was a reporter, so, and worked in magazine and newspaper editor. So you know, part of me like wonders, you know,
the hysteria of all of that.
What happened? You know, what were you thinking about? Those are the kinds of like answers I never got. I'll never get those answers directly from why did he do what he did. And more often than not, statistically proven that most people don't tell you why they're doing it.
Yeah.
The ones that do it, they're not leaving behind this message of like, this is why I did it. And because they don't need to burden you with that.
Yeah.
And people that want to be found, they kind of lead you to finding them so that they don't, you know, actually commit suicide or whatever the case is, or harm themselves. And those people don't really want to go. They want to be found and saved, and they're just looking for attention. They need help. They need a friend. They feel lonely. They're sick, whatever the case is. But now, like you said, there's more resources. I think that we're still learning because everything is always on a spectrum as far as like depression and mental illness and everything.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to give one person to you and say, hey, this guy can fix your problems. Here's this therapist that knows how to deal with you.
Yeah.
And some people are intimidated by seeing a therapist, or they're intimidated by calling that 1-800 helpline, because that kind of seems like, they have to make the effort forward, and that's like a big step for them. A lot of people don't realize that they're there already.
And then it's probably like a trust thing too. Like if I call this number right now, am I going to get taken to a mental like you just don't, so it deters people. But yeah, one thing that's really shifted heavily, in like with my own perspective, I didn't really have an opinion on this before my dad passed because again, I wasn't directly affected by suicide. So I wasn't like, I just didn't really have an opinion about it. I heard people say it and stuff, but I never really had input. But hearing people say, oh, like that's just a cry for help, or like they're just being attention seeking. It's like, and I don't know if it is because I've been directly affected, but I'm like, no, like this needs to be taken seriously. It's exactly what you just said, a cry for help. Like if something can be prevented, if something can be stopped. So I hate when...
And the people, come on, let's be honest, the people that say that, they're the people that it's not affecting them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
True.
It's somebody who's on the outskirts and everybody in their family's fine and they don't have to worry about that kind of thing. But let it be their own mom, or let it be a family member or a very close friend or something that's in that direction, then you'll change your mind really fast.
Yeah.
I don't think it's fair to say that, you know, oh, well, it's just a cry for help. It's more than that. It's a mental illness. It's somebody who needs help, that they're sick. They realize that this is the only way out.
Yeah.
And it's because of all the circumstances or thoughts in their head that have led them to believe this.
Yeah.
Never does it actually benefit somebody. So, you know, unless there's like a weight limit on an elevator and somebody's got to go, then you don't have to be the one to make that decision for yourself. There is somebody out there that can help you, or there's something that can help you.
Yeah.
There's some avenue of like a hobby or an experience that you haven't had yet that, you know, if you're feeling down and you're sad, look at the next European cruise that you want to go on.
Yeah.
And save your money up and work and hustle to get there, because if that can make you happy for just, you know, a solid 2 weeks, then that's enough to make a difference. And that's looking at your glass half full.
Yeah,
more often,
absolutely.
You know?
I find that I need like little things to look forward to, even if they're just certain, like tonight I told you I'm going to dinner and I'm like, oh, I'm excited, you know, like just keeping your calendar full of little things and things that don't have to cost money, you know, like walk in the park or walk outside, little things like that. I love all of that. Now, what do you do on like a daily, weekly, monthly basis? Is there something particular that like sticks out to you that you feel like keeps your own mental health in check and just makes you feel good?
Definitely exercise. I notice that whenever I don't hit the gym for a while, I start to get crazy. I start to get very lethargic.
Yeah.
I don't, I don't wake up as early anymore, or I'm not eating as often. I'm a skinny dude, and for me to not eat as often is a problem because I'll start to really look thin.
What a problem.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I'm joking. It is a problem like a lot of men have, and then women can kind of.
I really struggle. I'm trying to go. I'm not trying. I am all natural, not using testosterone and stuff, and
That's
not knocking
amazing.
it. I'm not knocking it for people that do it and stuff, but I don't need them right now, but I also am not going to get super big all of a sudden because I'm eating clean food and I'm eating good food. That's just not how our bodies are designed. There's a lot of people out there taking tea and they're not telling you about it, but I don't feel like that's for me. So I'm just naturally, my parents were two small framed people. That's what you get when you make me. I'm a little tall, but I'm skinny. And, I really struggle to put on weight. So for like the modeling industry and everything, now we're moving more towards a body positive state. For you to just be like this athletic looking guy now, you were already one in 100,000 guys that are on modeling agency boards all over the world. Yeah. But now it's like, okay, well, we want you to be a little heavier so you fit these clothes. Yeah. It's not like the 90s anymore. Everybody wants you like, hi.
Yeah, everyone wants you twig thin in the 90s. Right. Oh my gosh.
But there's a market for everybody. I mean, I've been told I fit more of a market for like Milan or Asia because I would fit their clothes better.
That's so cool. I could see that, like you having more of a European vibe. Mm-hmm. That's incredible. How is all of that going? And also stuff with film. I know we're on strike right now, but...
Yeah, so, I mean... I want to know more about the film stuff and the acting and everything. I don't know incredibly a whole lot, but I did know that you just did you just took acting classes out here with the place that I was taking them. But for the strike, what I understand is that writers aren't getting paid as much, so they're upset. I don't truly know the full story.
And the actors are on strike, but I think just with like AI and stuff.
Oh my god.
The way that's taken over, and then just like also streaming. We've seen it happen in the music industry too. I think like for example, someone put it like, you got paid a certain amount for that one day you did work on film.
Oh my God.
Me. But then think about the millions of times that people are streaming.
How many times they're going to sell it?
How many times they're going to sell it. And that's the thing, so they're collecting all of the money for being able to, I guess, monetize on that. And it's just not as fair to the actor or the writers and the actors. I think that the actors are heavily supporting the writers. I think it's the least fair to the writers or something right now. But I'm not like super versed on it either. I just know that there's a strike and that. So I signed with an agency this summer, and so we can only take like indie films and commercial work and stuff like that.
Interesting.
But I do want to get back in the classes. I wasn't in them this summer because I've been so busy, but I want to get back this fall. Do you think you're going to take any?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I really wanted to get back in it now, but it like... just my schedule's been crazy. I've been I keep emailing them and saying, hey, I'm coming back, and then he sends me all the stuff and I'm like, wait a minute, I have to go to Miami now, or I have to go to LA, and I really don't want to miss being there because you have to be there. It's like an immersive experience.
Have you done scene study yet?
No, I haven't.
Oh my God, you would love scene study. So scene study is not on camera, and you get like anywhere from like 7 to 9 pages that you'll have one partner all month, and you guys do a whole scene together. But you act it out live in front of the class each time. And sometimes she's like critiquing you in real time. It is so much fun. But she did just email me back today because I was thinking of going back in September. If you were going to go back in September, I could ask her about being partners. I was partners with one of my friends last time, and we had such a great time, but I'm not sure if I'm going to go back to on camera or scene study. So we'll see. But I'm so happy you're back. Heidi and Gray were always like, we miss Gabe.
Oh yeah, I miss them. They were honestly like a warm breath. They're like a warm, fresh breath of air. if that's a thing. It's like I walk into a hot yoga sauna and I'm like,
Yeah.
They're awesome though. They make me nervous, but they also help me grow. And honestly, those are the friends that I look forward to seeing again, because those friends, they keep you on your toes.
Yeah.
When you start to hang around people that just like they don't really care what you're doing, or they're not asking you. Yeah. If they're just like pulling you down, then
almost like wanting to know like what's going wrong in your life.
Yeah.
Even.
Whenever they celebrate your losses more, you got to cut it out.
Yeah.
That's something that I've had to learn over time. Like I was horrible with that in high school and stuff. I really wanted to like fit in with certain crowds. I really wanted to try
me too.
Yeah. So, learning that, hey, you're not for me, that's okay. Yeah. And I'm going to spend more time focusing on the things that are for me.
Yeah.
So like you said, the acting thing, I'm trying to like brush up in that. I feel like being on camera is actually much harder than modeling. It's so much harder than modeling. I give
weird,
a lot of,
for sure.
It's so like, it's one thing to look good and hit you with a nice pose, but it's another thing whenever you actually have to give the viewer some kind of dynamic or an emotion, or to pretend something that you're not, or pretend something that's supposed to be there which is actually not there. Yeah. Like filming shows and movies is all very raw. It's a very raw experience of like,
it is. It's immersive. Yeah.
There's no music playing around you when the music's playing in the show. There's
they overlay it. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a bunch of people pantomiming around you, acting like they're talking and they're not. So like it's, the experience that you see as a viewer is totally different from everybody's seen what behind the scenes looks like, but it's such a weird thing. Like green screens are hard for me.
Oh God, I know.
Like
it's the weirdest thing.
So weird to like, hey, can you pretend that you're looking over at the sunset and a baby turtle just launched itself in the sky for 30 seconds and you want me to do, how am I supposed to?
You're like, it's blunt.
Yeah, exactly. So
like,
I feel like
that's gonna need to get this party going.
Such a crazy dynamic, but it's tough, and I think it helps me grow. So I really want to get back into it and just start getting back into more classes and stuff. But as for the modeling thing, it's like it's not necessarily any harder than acting at all. And modeling's tough because you're definitely on this like. You're on this careful microscope of like what fashion looks good, and if you look good, and what's his hairline look like, what's his skin texture look like, how tall is he, what waist size is he. Those are like a lot of the questions that you get, and how many followers do you have is probably one of the most important questions that you get.
Really?
Yeah, they care more. They care more now if you're like an influencer than if you're just some good looking person on some agency board, because influencers already come with their own audience, which makes sense. I mean, you're already marketing to a certain group or a certain demographic of people that like this certain content. So if you can grab an influencer that already comes with views, then so that's just how the industry really works now. So whenever we talk about, just to bring this back to the strike that's happening, the writer strike and everything, the sad truth is that nothing is what it used to be about 20 or 30 years ago. Because now technology has moved so forward that like we're struggling to keep up with it, and we're still struggling to stay relevant, because now we're all just a bunch of people just trying to keep up with an algorithm, or we're somebody that's trying to keep up against AI. And now they can just like create a model out of thin air on a computer on AI, or an actor, or even write a story in seconds with AI. So that brings me to, is this something that is going to have a future for us as a human species in careers? Like, that's a great question to ask, because I'm curious to know, like, is there going to come a time when we're watching TV and, they don't really need a human actor to act this certain role? They just have a computer doing everything. And I think it's what we're moving toward. Yeah. Because they're already taking models' features, like their eyes. Like, they could take your eyes, my mouth, and your cheeks, and basically form them into a model and use them, and they don't have to pay us anything because we didn't sign any contracts for them to use our likeness. But that's starting to show up on contracts now.
And I think that it's probably in the contracts of our social media, because I keep noticing the terms and conditions.
Read the terms and conditions. I don't have TikTok because of that. So if you go looking me up on TikTok, I don't exist.
You're giving me anxiety. I'm like all over TikTok. Have you ever seen the South Park episode where the terms and conditions?
Yes, yeah.
With the Apple music.
Yeah. And I mean, Joe Rogan was talking about it on his podcast. He kind of like highlighted a big chunk from TikTok where they're harvesting your data from everything on your network. So even if I don't have TikTok and I'm on your Wi-Fi and you have TikTok, they can still get my data somehow. Oh gosh. Which is crazy, but I don't know how much truth there is to that because I didn't read those terms and conditions because I don't have a TikTok. Yeah. But you really got to watch out for that because now everybody's posting all these videos, all these photos and stuff of themselves, and now AI can just take every little piece of you and form something like a model or an actor or an actress, and they don't need you.
See, that's why I'm ready to be on my farm with no social media.
That's what I like to hear right there. Now, I don't think you should get rid of social media. I think social media has a good role to play as far as keeping you in connection with people. It's the news. But there's too much like manipulation that happens within it. Yeah. I think if you use social media for like the authentic reason it was made, for us to keep in contact and not as like some gateway drug into endless scrolling. Oh, yeah. Then social media can be a good thing. Like if you have a farm and you're operating a business from it, hey guys, today on the farm we have this. Hey guys,
get that farm content.
Dude,
I'm gonna be a farm girl.
I'm gonna be a farmer. So I'm gonna be a farm
horse
boy.
Girl.
I will be a horse.
Save a horse.
Yeah, that's right.
Ride a farmer.
Yeah,
I know.
I'm right. So. It's funny you say that because I don't know if you know that. That's my big dream, to be a farmer. Do you know that?
No, I don't think
You're messing with me.
No, I'm really... I mean,
Stop.
I could have figured that because you have such a green thumb, like you've always been into horticulture and everything, and like you're my go-to person when my plants are dying. But yeah, I don't think I knew that. But I know as a society, a lot of us are kind of feeling drawn to that lifestyle.
Yeah. And we should like...
Oh, you're the OG.
Yo.
You're the OG farmer.
Hey, and
Old McDonald.
Unfortunately, I don't actually have a farm right now, but eventually that's like the whole farm plan is building in my life. So yes, I do have a green thumb. I'm always growing something, and chances are if you know me in person, I'm probably cutting off a piece of some plant somewhere to propagate it so I can have a piece for myself. But I like farmers, and I came to this realization that
are you all straight?
I came to the realization that I need a more simple life than what I really thought I wanted. Yeah. I thought I wanted like all the fame. I thought I wanted all the glitz and glam, all the materialistic things. And quite frankly, I don't care about that stuff. I've gone to Miami and I've been out to all the parties, and I've seen the guys pay ridiculous amounts of money for the bottles at the tables in the VIP section. And whenever I think about what that money could do for somebody, or what that could do for yourself, or what you could invest that into to be more self-sufficient, to have more happiness with your family, to have more investments that are helping you grow. Versus one night that you just blew for $6,000-$7,000 with your friends. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, really fun time. Probably too fun, but you have to have that balance. So if you have that money to go and do that, then I really think that you should be spending your money also elsewhere, investing in something that could help you grow what you're doing. So the farmer lifestyle is very important to me, and I hope it's also important to you, because the whole thing is self-sufficiency. Yeah. And I think if there's anything that we've learned from this COVID thing, is that being self-sufficient is probably imperative for our future generations. Yeah. Because there's only so much land we're going to be able to take. There's only so much energy we're going to have. There's only like non-renewable resources are just disappearing. So what are you doing to do your part if you're into the environmental side, or what are you doing to protect yourself? I'm not asking you to like start building your bunker because somebody's just gonna bomb the place, but pray, fingers crossed, that it's not gonna get there either. But to be a little more self-sufficient, I think, is like the ideal lifestyle that I want to have too.
Yeah, absolutely.
If I can just stay where I'm at and not really need to go elsewhere for what I need, food is health. So if you grow the right food, the clean food, and with regenerative or permaculture practices, then you'll have good health, good food. And then you also have good community, because people eating good food with good health, they all breed together a good community.
Share and barter things.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to trade.
Dude, if I could go back.
Goat for my chicken.
Yes. If I could go back like 300 years. First off, I did the whole like Google my family lineage thing, and I found out I'm probably about as American as it gets. Like, really? I have some Hines lineage of somebody coming here in the 1700s even.
Are you all related to the Duncan Hines?
Yeah, I wish. I mean, I'll be getting some cake.
Getting that cake. Dough?
Yeah, getting that dough. Life's sweet.
Life's sweet when you're a Hines.
Yeah, that's right. Or, most people, they're like, ketchup. That was my nickname when I played baseball.
Ketchup
in
Hines?
School. Yeah, they'd be like, ketchup,
Oh, wait, I get it now. Yeah, because Hines.
Hines ketchup, yeah.
That is so funny. Ketchup.
They'd be like, we should make your number 57. I'm like, but it's not spelled the same way.
Yeah. Wait, that's cute though.
Yeah.
No, but I agree with you about like just the sustainability of everything. And I feel like I'm going to be such a Nazi about my crops that I'm going to have them in some sort of a greenhouse. That way the sun can still get in, but the chemtrails can't get in. Because I don't know, it's just crazy.
Yeah, not to like open that can of worms, but the other thing is, like, let's say you got a piece of land for yourself next to other farms where farmers are using their space. If they're spraying on their land, it by association just comes to your land because it's right there.
Guilty by association.
Yeah, I mean, literally just because you're in proximity of it and it's happening. Yeah. You get that wind and everything. So that's something that you gotta be wary about. Now that is if like you're trying to go for more organic food and stuff, because that's the sad thing is like when you really get down into the brass tacks of what organic labeling is.
Not the brass tacks.
Yeah, the brass tacks. So you get down into that, then you start to realize like, oh, this can't be happening within this range of my farm. Oh, I can't use this material because this is not allowed as organic. Oh, so, but needless to say, yeah, having everything in a greenhouse would be nice because you can have some kind of like a microclimate and you can control what's growing in there. There's a guy out of Durham who's literally on less than an acre. He's got about 3 greenhouses. All he grows is lettuce, and he makes over 6 figures a year.
Oh yeah, like he sells the microgreens and stuff to people.
Lettuce, yeah. I mean, he sells strictly only to chefs.
Lettuce.
Direct orders and restaurants.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Right there in Raleigh, and he was a school teacher, and his name is Josh, and I listen to his podcast quite well. He's been on some podcasts.
That's cool.
Yeah, there's tons of. I listen to a lot of farmer podcasts. Like
you mentioned that last time.
Like Regenerative Journey with Charlie Arnott. He's like, if you like Australian accents, then you got to go listen to his podcast because the dude's an authentic Australian farmer.
When you said his last name even sounded Australian.
Charlie Arnott. Arnott.
Yeah. Well, that's really cool. I'm going to have to check those out for sure. We're down to the final 5 minutes, but that was fast. I know, it was so fast, right? We're going to have to come back for all these other questions. But okay, what is something really weird that you like to do or you swear by doing? Wait, sorry, I worded that wrong. Something weird that you like to do, but you swear by it. You're like, this is the next best thing. Everyone has to do it. But people are like, that is so weird.
Man, I don't know if this is like that weird, but I think everybody should be doing it, and it's upcycling. And upcycling. So like, it's like recycling. Yeah, it's almost like recycling, but you know how you see like a chair on the side of the road and you think to yourself, oh, that chair would look good in my house. It just needs some TLC.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take that chair home, or that dresser, or I'm like a dumpster diver is what I'm trying to tell you. I like to go and pick up things that I can
Thrill of the hunt.
Yeah. Go on Facebook Marketplace or whatever. Go on the online things and just shop for pieces of furniture that I can refinish.
I love that. And that's an incredible skill to have too.
Yeah. So I really am into that. And I think like it's a fun project for anyone to do for themselves, or even just like a project they can do with their friends. But, you know, it's also a little side hustle. You can make some money doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I love Facebook Marketplace. I like selling things on there too.
Yeah.
It's so much fun. Like just finding something random in your house that you don't use anymore. And your trash is another person's literal treasure.
Literally.
Upcycling. Okay, that's good. As we prepare to close out, do you have any advice for the younger generation, or honestly just anyone, any generation on here?
I would say that, like, don't be in a rush.
Ooh, I like that.
That is something that I've had to learn, a very long lesson that I'm still learning. Okay. And it's something that you have to learn with grace, because rushing yourself is not going to get you there any faster. It's only going to make you upset. It's going to give you the wrong emotions that you don't want to feel in your journey for discovering yourself. So if you don't know what you want to be, if you don't know who you are yet, don't rush it.
Yeah.
Go try some things. I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I still kind of don't. I mean, I know I want to be a farmer.
We're so young too.
And we are. And I think, like, when you ask an 18-year-old right after high school what they want to major in, that's unless they already knew from the jump, or they've been inspired truly by something that moved them, then you don't know. You have no idea. Okay. So, like, don't rush yourself to jump in school. Go try some things. And if there's anybody that I can inspire to jump into the trades, go do it. Because we're really struggling to find people that know how to do construction, or that are interested in it, or agriculture, or those blue collar jobs. Everybody wants to be a data analyst, and they all want to do Google jobs or something like that. And I truly think, like, they're going to get washed out, and AI's taking their job anyway, to be honest. So at this point, like, we need more tradesmen out there. We need people hustling and just trying different things. I'm trying to be a DJ, an actor, a model, a farmer, you know, you name it, a hustler with
me too,
renovations, real estate,
check
like what
all of the above.
So and I can't tell you
people hot.
And I want to make music, so I feel like I really enjoy the life of just trying things. So I don't want everybody to just walk away trying only one thing in their life.
I love this is so great, Gabe. This is incredible. I always say treat everything in life like a noodle. Throw it on the wall, see if it sticks. If not, keep moving forward.
That noodle ain't ready.
Or that noodle is too done. That noodle is, you need to put that one to rest. Okay, but where can the audience find you? You can't no one's going to find you. Where can they find you?
You can't find me on TikTok, but you can find me on Instagram. That's where I'm posting, like, most of my modeling content. You know, I'm trying to get on the Reels game.
Incredible, by the way. Oh my God.
Thank you. I've worked very hard for it, and I'm very grateful to all the photographers, stylists, productions, producers, creative directors, everyone that has built my portfolio the way it looks. It's very high classy and beautiful, and I've been excited to work with a lot of people. I've been very fortunate. But you can find me on Instagram at Gabriel Hines _ and Facebook Gabriel Hines. I don't think I really am much on anything else. Like I said, not really doing the talks. I'm really trying out on my Reels game, so I know you're going to make a reel from this maybe.
Yes, I will. I'll send it to you to post.
I really struggle with the Reels, guys, in the videos. I'm terrible. I know I need to do them. And doing construction and DIYs, like, I just need to hurry up and get the GoPro and, like, set it up so I can just start making content, because I'm doing it anyway. I'm, like, renovating houses, apartments, built a restaurant, but
Yeah, my two biggest tips for anybody that is getting into creating reels and doing more like digital marketing and content: do not edit on the app. Always edit off of the app. So like my favorite app to edit is InShot. It is so user friendly. It won't kick you off and be overloaded with data on Instagram. I just don't have a lot of patience.
Wait a minute. Do you have like a partnership with them by any chance? Like
I don't. I just am authentic.
Don't be giving them that free content.
True. But
InShot better give her that code, that discount code.
Seriously, right? See, I need you as my manager. That, and then create a playlist or notes on your phone. Like anytime you hear a song and you hear the beat and you're like, whoa, that would be really great if I made a song, or if I made a reel saying this or using this caption, or showed me doing this to this song. So that way you're just constantly in a cinematic frame of mind. And even when you're not doing it, you're still doing it by thinking of what you're going to post next or what you're going to create. But yeah, I love to hear that for you. Thank you so much for being here today. I had such an incredible time with you. Thank you guys for watching the episode.
Thanks,
Give
guys.
Gabriel a follow. Check out all of his awesome creative endeavors. They're also inspiring and cool. And until next time, stay bloomy brained.